Hey guys, it's Mountain Walk, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about Gro-a-Tog. Yep, that's right. So this deck originally grew out of, sorry, grew out of Miracle Grow back in Extended, uh, when Extended was really popular, also pretty busted, when Ice Age and Alliances, and you still had the dual lands from Revise. They were kept in on a special thing, and so the Miracle Grow deck basically combined like low land count, high cantrips, lots of counter spells, some big threats, that kind of stuff. And so this is basically like the idea of our current sort of aggro control style decks, which we can still see today in Legacy with a lot of Delver style decks. Anyways, so Force of Will and the Dual Lands rotated out, and people still wanted to play this style of deck. You still had a lot of the cards available, so they made like a multicolor version, not just blue-green, oftentimes playing like all five colors. And of course, they incorporated Psychotog, that'd be the Tog part, of course. So yeah, it was sort of an interesting deck. It saw some success in the old extended formats, but I mean, extended became much less popular after the dual lanes rotated. But that's okay. That's them's the breaks, right? Anyways, so in pre-modern now we have basically access to all this stuff. Well, of course, we don't have the dual lanes, which is really the biggest thing. No Force of Will is, bad too, but no dual lands, that's the real kicker. That sucks. So we got to do a little bit of work, like in post rotation extended. We'll draw upon that deck list, and we'll try and see what kind of things we can do, see how big we can get this query on Dryad. All right. So, yeah, this was actually, I know this seems weird, but the version that we're going to be talking about today actually did exist in some form, although they were able to play Vampiric Tutor. But yeah, kind of weird. Most people don't know that this deck actually existed. I didn't even really know until I started looking through old extended deck lists um, from like the 2003, 2004, 2005, that kind of era. Um, and yeah, there was a lot of interesting deck building. So what they did to overcome like the loss of dual lands was just to be like, all right, we're gonna play Mox Diamond because this produces all five colors of mana. Same thing with City of Brass. So now you have more sideboard options, of course, and you can still play things like Gush because you'll be basically just playing basic islands otherwise. Of course, fetch lands too. Fetch lands being good with cantrips, and then of course Fueling Psychotog, very good. Um, so yeah, that's how they were able to really fix the issue of no dual lands. Of course, again, this is a pale limitation, but of course, it's not all downside because, like I said, these lands produce all five colors of mana, and with all your cantrips and stuff, you'll be able to actually play all sorts of interesting sideboard cards that you would normally be able to. So that's cool. And Mox Diamond itself is even basically a ramp spell, so that's pretty sweet pretty sweet. So yeah, yeah. So it's about the best we can do. It's a pretty interesting deck, but you know what? Why don't we just take a look at this thing? Okay. So basically, I always felt like the deck was like one five color land too short. It felt like when I was playing it. So I just jammed in another Undiscovered Paradise or another a Undiscovered Paradise because again, it's good. I mean, it even operates uh, pretty well with stuff like just having an extra card to bounce back to your hand for like things like foil or whatever, which is kind of nice. So that's kind of cool. A little bit, tiny little bit of extra percentage points here and there. It's kind of nice. But it's another pain-free land. Produces five colors of mana because you don't really want to overload on City of Brass type effects. I guess you could play another gemstone mine. That might be fine too. Or play a gemstone mine, I should say. So yeah, most of these lists are playing like 16 lands and 3 to 4 Mox Diamond. I like more Mox Diamond, of course. And then I also like just having more lands. I almost always err on the side of more lands, especially since our cantrips are a lot worse, and we really, if we get wasted off a City of Brass or something, we really want to find another one, typically, so we can actually cast our spells. If they like kill one of our dudes or whatever, they kill our Psychotog, then we can't cast another Psychotog or whatever. So, but yeah, here we go. We just got a bunch of card drawing stuff. Opt, Gush, Portent, Sleight of Hand. Nothing too weird there. Counter spells, Daze, counter spell itself, foil. I kind of want to fit in another counter spell probably somewhere. Then of course the creatures, Meddling Mage, Queer on Dryad, Psychotog, Dryad and Tog are pretty standard in Gro-a-Tog decks, and then Meddling Mage is pretty good too. It stops all sorts of nasty stuff, can be a big pain in the butt for removal light decks, and of course is very good against combo decks too. And then of course we got Armageddon and Fire Ice. Fire Ice, again, I can't say enough good things about this. It's sometimes card advantage, sometimes it's a great tempo tool, sometimes you can port people during their upkeep, just tap a big blocker, at end step swing with a big Tog or Dryad or whatever. I mean, just sometimes it kills people, the final 2 points of damage, all that good stuff. And then of course Armageddon, because Armageddon blows stuff up. Just kills all lands. That's pretty sweet. Oh, and Mox Diamond is pretty good with Armageddon too, in case that wasn't obvious enough. Okay, and then we have the sideboard. Not 100% sure about everything in the sideboard. I mean, again, typically you want some Crypts and Hydroblasts. You want Sylvan Library and Swords, Duress, Annul. I'm getting all these cards are great. I'm not exactly sure. Again, it sort of depends on what you expect to play against. So, I mean, like I said, you can pretty much play anything, Misdirection, Boomerang. Boomerang, of course, just being like a on-color hate card sort of thing. I mean, you can play like Naturalize or whatever, but Boomerang's a little better because it's easier to cast and can bounce blockers and stuff like that. So, just sort of depends on what you want to do, what you need. But a lot of these cards are pretty general purpose, aren't going to really be dead. I mean, Annul, again, one of my favorite cards. This card's great because it's, again, obviously 1-mana hard counters are awesome, but there's so many artifacts and enchantments. Again, really powerful artifacts and enchantments, stuff like land tax and survival and all sorts of nasty things. Solitary confinement, just random stuff too, So all sorts of nasty things. So it's hardly ever dead. You can counter a curse scroll. I mean, gosh, just everything. So that's pretty sweet. Don't look, but I might have forgotten the S on Swords to Plowshares. So it's Swords to Plowshare. So you better share. Yeah, nothing weird here. I guess. I mean, Chill's obviously very good because like first turn, like if you go like Island, Mox, Chill or something against red decks like on the play, I mean, it's gonna be hard to lose from there. But I don't know. I mean, I like Hydroblast. They're a little bit better. They help deal with like for example against goblins. Like if you're on the play, or excuse me, on the draw, you'll actually still be able to kill a lackey, and it won't just like snowball out of control if they resolve one against you. So yeah, obviously that's like a pretty big that's a pretty big thing you want to deal with. Like that's one of the easiest ways to lose. It's just a lackey just gets going and then it puts in like 10 mana worth of dudes and you just die, and it's, yeah. So that's, I don't know, I'm not 100% sure. Of course, even Hydroblast, I guess, has even more random utility. Like you can counter a wildfire or something. All sorts of things. But I mean, splitting them up would be fine too. You can even play stuff like Compost against mono black decks. That's pretty based. Everyone likes Compost. I love Compost. I love the art on it. I mean, there's all sorts of sweet cards you can play. So yeah. All right. Like I said, I prefer a fifth City Brass 5-color Rainbow Land. And I like Undiscovered Paradise. I think it's a little bit better than Gemstone Mine. A little bit. But I could be wrong on that. Maybe Gemstone Mine's actually the better one. Not really sure. And of course, like I said earlier, Sideboard is open. It's open for business. You can just put whatever the heck you want in there. I mean, it's great. Like, just whatever you want, you know? Pretty sweet. But unfortunately, you really are reliant on Mox and City Brass to really, obviously, to fix your mana. So, I mean, maybe I need an undiscovered paradise, and a gemstone mine. Maybe we need 10 sources of the 5-color mana stuff, even with all the cantrips, but who knows? Who knows? But yeah, this deck is, again, this is, sort of classic aggro control strategy that we're sort of used to today. The probably the probably the deck that would be the most similar would be like the like uh, rug threshold deck, or the blue green white threshold deck from around like 2006-ish in Legacy, when that was one of the best decks back then, where it was like, playing your werebears and nimble mongoose, and sometimes fledgling dragon. If you were white, you of course would play uh, meddling mage, of course, and swords and stuff. So yeah, this is pretty similar to that, and has the same sort of play style. Play a threat, play a bunch of cantrips, play some counter magic to protect it. Yeah, all that good, not that kind of good stuff. And of course, it's always fun to get um, like a dryad down and just start casting all sorts of cantrips and stuff. That's always fun to me. I don't know. I'm always like, oh, I want to get super greedy and see how big I can get my dryad, right? That's so fun to me. That's like one of those sort of like little mini games. I get really excited over that. I guess that's a little silly. Like I said, I would kind of like another piece of counter magic. It would be nice if, I mean, maybe is 2 foil too much? I don't know. 4 days is good. Maybe I just need another counter spell. But then you have to start cutting into your cantrips, and I'm not 100% sure about that. But I could see that, maybe cutting a sleight of hand or something, or an opt. Not really sure, but yeah. So yeah. So that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it, guys. This is, I mean, this, like I said, there's not much to these sort of decks. I mean, the only thing, like sometimes they, like the mana base doesn't work. Um, but typically this deck's pretty sweet, pretty great, pretty fun. Like I said, you can just do whatever with it. Have all sorts of fun with all your sideboard cards and stuff. Pretty sweet. I mean, again, you probably do want some additional misdirection because it's so good, being able to use other people's removal on their stuff. Um, and obviously that was a really big part of the Gro-a-Tog decks from Vintage. They played 4 main deck misdirection and 4 force of will. I mean, those decks were really, really hardcore. I mean, they were all about slamming that dryad and just going balls deep, really. I mean, sorry, I know that's a little lewd. Oh, okay, I'll be sure to cut that out and post. It's so lewd. All right. But anyways, yeah, it's sweet. It's good. It's good. It's fun. It's good deck. And yeah, I think misdirection would be another good ad, especially with all the good cheap removal all over the place. They try and smother your dude. Well, you smother your dude instead. Haha, sucker. So, but yeah, that's it. That's it. I guess I don't really have much else to say. The deck sort of, it is what it is. Play a threat, land it, protect the queen kind of strategy. So I hope you guys like it. I hope you guys are having a great day, great Sunday. Um, so yeah, have a great day. So thanks for stopping by, and have a nice day.